A life cut short. Sherri Rasmussen's story. Sherri Rasmussen was a young woman with dreams. Born in February 1957, she was full of life and ambition. She excelled in her studies and her career. She was a skilled respiratory therapist. She had recently married John Ruetten, the man of her dreams. Life was good, and the future was bright. But fate, it seemed, had other plans. On February 24, 1986, Sherri's life was tragically cut short. She was found murdered in her Van Nuys apartment. A gruesome discovery, the murder scene. The scene that greeted the police was horrific. Sherri's apartment was a mess, furniture overturned, belongings scattered everywhere. It was clear a struggle had taken place. Sherri had been brutally beaten. The official cause of death, multiple gunshot wounds. Who could have done this? Why? These were the questions that haunted everyone. The investigation into Sherri Rasmussen's murder had begun. The puzzling evidence. A trail gone cold. The initial investigation focused on the possibility of a botched robbery. The apartment was in disarray, suggesting a struggle and a possible break-in. However, some things didn't add up. Valuables were left untouched. The violence seemed personal, too intense for a random robbery. There was another piece of evidence, a crucial one, that baffled investigators. A bite mark on Sherri's arm. But with limited forensic technology at the time, the investigation hit a wall. A bite mark speaks DNA reopens the case. Years turned into decades. The case of Sherri Rasmussen, a young nurse who was brutally murdered in her own home, had long been forgotten by many. The initial investigation had hit a dead end, and despite the best efforts of the detectives at the time, no solid leads emerged. The case grew cold, the file gathering dust. The case grew cold, the file gathering dust. Sherri's family was left with unanswered questions, their grief compounded by the lack of closure. They had hoped for justice, but as the years passed, their hope began to wane. The pain of losing Sherri never diminished, and the mystery surrounding her death only added to their torment. Sherri's family was left with unanswered questions, their grief compounded by the lack of closure. They clung to memories, flipping through photo albums and reminiscing about happier times. Each photograph was a painful reminder of the life Sherri had lived and the future she had been robbed of. The unanswered questions hung in the air, a constant presence in their lives. Then came a glimmer of hope. In the early 2000s, advances in DNA technology offered a new chance to revisit cold cases. The development of more sophisticated techniques meant that evidence once considered unusable could now be re-examined with fresh eyes. This breakthrough brought renewed hope to many families who had been waiting for answers. In the early 2000s, advances in DNA technology offered a new chance to revisit cold cases. Scientists and forensic experts were now able to extract and analyze DNA from evidence that had been preserved for years. This technological leap was a game-changer, providing law enforcement with powerful new tools to solve crimes that had long been considered unsolvable. In 2005, the LAPD reopened Sherri's case. Detectives armed with the latest DNA technology began to re-examine the evidence. They meticulously reviewed the case file looking for any clues that might have been missed. The bite mark, preserved all these years, would finally have a voice. The results were shocking. The bite mark, preserved all these years, would finally have a voice. The results were shocking. The DNA analysis revealed something completely unexpected. The evidence pointed to a woman, not a man. This revelation turned the investigation on its head, challenging all previous assumptions about the case. The DNA pointed to a woman, not a man. And not just any woman, but an LAPD officer, Stephanie Lazarus. This discovery sent shockwaves through the department. Stephanie Lazarus was a respected officer, and the idea that she could be involved in such a heinous crime was almost unimaginable. The investigation took on a new urgency as detectives worked to uncover the truth. And not just any woman, but an LAPD officer, Stephanie Lazarus. The revelation was both shocking and deeply unsettling. How could someone sworn to uphold the law be involved in such a brutal crime? The detectives knew they had to tread carefully, as the implications of this discovery were far-reaching. The case that had once seemed so cold was now burning hot, and the quest for justice for Sherri Rasmussen was reignited with a new fervor. Section 5. A shocking revelation, the perpetrator unmasked, Stephanie Lazarus. The name sent shockwaves through the LAPD. Lazarus was a veteran officer, well-respected within the force. She was also John Ruetten's ex-girlfriend, a fact that had not come up in the initial investigation. This revelation turned the case upside down. The botched robbery theory was out the window. The investigation now focused on Lazarus. Could this respected officer really be capable of such a brutal act? Section 6. Twisted motives, jealousy, and rage. As investigators dug deeper into Lazarus's past, a disturbing picture emerged. She had been deeply in love with John Ruetten. Their relationship had been tumultuous, and she had been devastated when he married Sherri. Witnesses came forward recalling Lazarus's unsettling behavior towards Sherri, including a visit to Sherri's workplace where she allegedly said, "If I can't have John, no one can." It became horrifyingly clear. Jealousy and rage had driven Lazarus to murder. Section 7. Justice delayed, the trial and conviction. The trial of Stephanie Lazarus was a media sensation. The courtroom was packed with reporters, cameras flashing, and the public eager to catch a glimpse of the proceedings. It was a case that had captured the nation's attention, not just because of the crime but because of who was on trial. A decorated police officer on trial for murder? It was almost unthinkable. Stephanie Lazarus had served the community for years, earning accolades and respect. Yet, here she was, facing the most serious of charges. The contrast between her decorated past and the grim accusations made the trial all the more compelling. The prosecution presented a strong case, relying heavily on the DNA evidence and eyewitness accounts of Lazarus's obsessive behavior. They meticulously laid out the timeline, showing how Lazarus's actions had escalated over time. The DNA evidence was the cornerstone of their argument, linking her directly to the crime scene. Eyewitnesses recounted chilling stories of Lazarus's fixation on the victim, painting a picture of a woman driven by jealousy and rage. Lazarus's defense team argued that the DNA evidence was contaminated and that she was being framed. They pointed to procedural errors and potential mishandling of evidence, suggesting that someone had tampered with the DNA to implicate her. They also highlighted her exemplary record as a police officer, arguing that it was implausible for someone of her standing to commit such a heinous act. However, the jury found Lazarus guilty of first-degree murder. After days of deliberation, they were convinced by the prosecution's narrative and the weight of the evidence. The verdict was a shock to many, but it also brought a sense of closure to those who had followed the case closely. In 2012, she was sentenced to 27 years to life in prison. The sentencing was a somber affair, with the judge emphasizing the gravity of the crime and the breach of trust it represented. Lazarus, once a respected officer, was now facing the consequences of her actions. Justice, though delayed, was finally served. The trial and conviction of Stephanie Lazarus served as a reminder that no one is above the law, and that justice, no matter how long it takes, will eventually prevail. The case left an indelible mark on the community, a testament to the relentless pursuit of truth and justice. Section 8. A city-shaken controversy and public outrage. The Lazarus case sent shockwaves through Los Angeles. The idea that a police officer sworn to protect and serve could commit such a heinous crime was difficult to comprehend. The case raised questions about the LAPD's handling of the initial investigation. Suspicions lingered that Lazarus's status as a police officer had influenced the early investigation, leading to a delayed arrest. The case became a symbol of police corruption and the need for greater accountability. Section 9. A legacy of loss remembering Sherri Rasmussen. The murder of Sherri Rasmussen left a permanent scar on those who knew and loved her. Sherri was a vibrant, compassionate, and accomplished woman whose life was tragically cut short. Her untimely death not only shocked her family and friends but also sent ripples of sorrow through the community. Her family, robbed of a daughter, a sister, and a wife, continues to grapple with the pain of her loss. The void left by Sherri's absence is felt in every family gathering, every holiday, and every moment that should have been shared with her. Her parents, who had dreams of watching their daughter grow old, now visit her grave, seeking solace in memories and the hope of justice. Sherri's husband John was left to navigate a future that was meant to be shared with his beloved wife. Their plans, their dreams, and their love story were abruptly halted by an act of senseless violence. The empty chair at the dining table is a constant reminder of the life they were supposed to build together. Sherri's case serves as a reminder of the devastating consequences of obsession, jealousy, and rage. These dark emotions, when left unchecked, can lead to irreversible actions that destroy lives and shatter families. The shadow of her murderer loomed large, casting a pall over the lives of those who loved her. The investigation into Sherri's murder was long and arduous, marked by numerous setbacks and challenges. Detectives faced a complex web of emotions and motives, each thread leading them deeper into a labyrinth of human frailty and darkness. The case highlighted the destructive power of unchecked emotions and the lengths to which some individuals will go when consumed by jealousy and rage. It also underscores the importance of perseverance in the pursuit of justice, no matter how long it takes. The detectives who worked on Sherri's case demonstrated unwavering dedication, refusing to let the passage of time diminish their resolve. Their commitment to uncovering the truth and bringing the perpetrator to justice is a testament to the enduring power of determination and the human spirit. Sherri Rasmussen's story is a tragic one, but it is also a testament to the enduring power of truth. Her memory lives on in the hearts of those who knew her, and her story continues to inspire others to seek justice and to cherish the time they have with their loved ones. The flickering candle symbolizes the light of her spirit, which continues to shine even in the darkest of times. But it is also a testament to the enduring power of truth and the importance of holding those in power accountable for their actions. The courtroom scenes, where justice was finally served, stand as a powerful reminder that truth and justice can prevail, even in the face of overwhelming odds. The light breaking through the darkness symbolizes the triumph of truth over deceit and the resilience of the human spirit. Sherri's legacy is one of love, resilience, and the relentless pursuit of justice. Her story serves as a beacon of hope for others who have faced similar tragedies, reminding them that they are not alone, and that justice, though sometimes delayed, is always worth fighting for. The scrutiny of those in power underscores the importance of accountability and the role it plays in ensuring that justice is served for all.